DBFZ Season 3 tier list. Nothing is ordered. Lowest tier is A. Everyone is viable. S plus just do things other characters aren't allowed to do. If 21 base Vegeta, Broly, Tien Gohan, Beerus, Kid Buu, Majin Buu, Tien, Jiren, both blues, and 18 in S plus. S tier with Master Roshi, Bardock, UI, Trunks, Kefla. SSJ Vegeta, Base Goku, GT Goku, Gotenks, Android 16, Android 17, Cell, Yamcha hit. Then A plus, Ginyu, Gohan, Piccolo, Zamasu, Videl, Gogeta, Janemba, Krillin, S Broly. A tier Goku, Goku Black, Vegito, Cooler, Frieza, and Nappa. As usual, you know, I don't really agree with Sonic on a lot of stuff in this game character-wise. Tactics-wise, you can learn a lot from Sonic, especially one of the most important things of the game of how to play with minus frames, because there's nothing that's plus in the game. I am greatly over-exaggerating by saying there's nothing that's plus in the game, but you're generally playing with minus frames here. Sonic also has the tendency to rate, and to be honest, I wish I had this kind of confidence too most of the time. Like when I was playing Ginyu in Season 1, I was like, there is a possibility that in like 6 months he could be S tier or trash. I was not like, this character's godlike when I picked him up, right? When Sonic picks a character, they're like, yo, this character is the fucking shit, and that's it. And when they hit, they really hit. Sonic has had a lot of takes about characters in this game that have been off, but when they hit on a character, they hit really hard. Definitely one of the biggest examples in this game's history have been Android 16 in Season 1 and Base Vegeta in Season 2. Those are probably the most well-known ones, especially Android 16 because how much that character affected the game in Season 1. So Android 21 rated as the best character in the game, and they specifically mentioned that in a quote tweet, right, that they think Android 21 is the best character. As usual, their take is pretty spicy, right? I usually don't agree with a lot of their takes on characters. Android 21 though right now is strong for sure, if we're going to talk about her specifically. And she does have a really clean path to winning, and her neutral is really good, especially when supported by the right characters. We don't need to say much about Base Vegeta. We've talked about Base Vegeta to death on why he's a good character. But I do think a bunch of people would agree that the character is kind of down right now, a little bit. It's mostly here, we're talking about defense, because the EX kick has been nerfed this patch, so it's no longer a 4-frame reversal, which means you have much less places that you can use it defensively than before. Broly, I think everyone would agree. Tien Gohan, I think everyone would agree. Beerus is a spicy pick. Sonic has been trying to use Beerus every season, and they were trying to play Beerus in the previous patch, so we'll see why they like Beerus this patch. Also, another thing to keep in mind about Sonic's character picks a lot too is like they definitely are really good at fighting good characters that other people don't use. So remember that a character being uncommon is a buff for you in tournament because people won't have countermeasures. So we talk about this a lot on the stream too, where you basically have two paths in Dragon Ball. You can pick what you know wins, because the same stuff wins all the time. Bardock wins, Kid Buu wins, Beams win, etc. Or you can go your own way. You can take a risk and go your own way. Don't lose your way, but you can go your own way, right? It's a risk because you don't know if the thing is actually good and actually effective, but if it is effective, you get a really strong strategy that people won't be ready for because it's not the usual strategy that people use to win the game. We have a couple other common ones like Kid Buu's in here, right? Of course, no surprise there. Majin Buu, basically all top players of the game rate Majin Buu high, even though they don't like to play him, because we understand the character's potential is really good. A lot of people just aren't willing to work that hard, basically. The character takes a lot of effort, a lot of optimization. You can't make mistakes. Played perfectly though, the character is very scary. Tien is an interesting one, but Tien has gotten a lot of new tools. We talked about it in recent videos. Tien works really well with minus frames now. It's funny that we just talked about this too, and In the case of Sonic, they're really good at this. So for a character like, let's say, Tien Gohan, you have the instant cross-up mid-screen. Broly, obviously, you have command grabs. So now Tien has the instant overhead, and he has an instant cross-up that he already had. So he has a lot of good tools there. Jiren is a new and kind of spicy one. I am assuming it's because of defensive RPS, and defensive RPS is pretty important. It's how some people straight up win games. You know, his is really good right now. You need to. He's one where like his defensive RPS is good right now, and he's not a common character. So you know, that's kind of a buff for him. But I mean, in my opinion, we could talk about my opinion later though. My bad. I was about to say how I feel about Jiren, but whatever. Blue Vegeta, I think a lot of people agree he's really strong right now. More damage, more corner carry, way more explosive than before, way better neutral control than before. Blue Goku, people have been saying this character is really strong for a long time. I'm thinking that since Blue Goku is an S+ tier, they probably thought that Blue Goku was an S+ tier before. Because this character has gotten no changes. And then 18 is probably like a damage thing because she got some new combos now with her Destructo Disc. Next, let's look at S tier. There's not that much to look at here. Probably the biggest surprises in the S tier would be Bardock and UI Goku and Base Goku not being higher. Hook proved Blue Goku is nasty. Hook did not prove Blue Goku is nasty. We've known Blue Goku is good for mad long. There's no tournaments for us to actually see who's like, what would be the thing that everyone would copy and be like, this is the way to win. Unfortunately, the one that's gonna be that really is kind of the upcoming DBFZ Nationals. If I had to keep it 100, it's a little bit different than saying like, you know, like it's really easy to say like Kid Buu's mad good and stuff, or like Bardock's mad good, because it's been so many fucking events and so many patches of these characters just getting through and continuing to do well. If you want to quickly side note on that team, that's been a team that's existed since season 1. It's not, that team again is not new shit. It's just the first time a well-known strong player is playing that team. A well-known very strong player is playing that team. So we talk about Bardock's flaws a decent amount in this stream chat and on this channel in general. And I guess from Sonic's perspective, we're just in a spot where it just matters. Like, it just matters much more than before. And from the perspective of Season 2, that's the, oh my god, this character is not top 5, it's like top 7. But now it seems that they feel like these characters all have stuff that Bardock does not have. I think it's kind of true. It's also true, too, that like a bunch of stuff about Bardock did get nerfed between Season 2 and Season 3. So I think this one is pretty legit, and we have to remember too that the B assist that everyone really liked before got memed to death, quite literally to death. So here we are. UI is kind of a spicy one also for people. I think he should be higher than this. I'm the guy who's like, y'all overrate UI Goku, but I still acknowledge him being top tier. And I also find it interesting they put UI Goku here and Jiren in S+, where they have really similar defensive RPS situations. So I wonder why they're thinking like that, right? Then we have Trunks and Kefla. People generally acknowledge them as really good characters. SSJ Vegeta, the Eternal, he's always here. Base Goku, some people might think is a little too low. I think this character would be S+ on Sonic's like rating of, like S+, S, A+, A. GT Goku, that assist is goat shit. Gotenks would be another one that some people might be like, isn't this character not as high as they should be? That character is in a really good spot right now. Android 16 is probably, on this scale, the highest that they've been basically since Season 1. But from what I've seen, I don't know if their changes are so drastic that this character is there, He does have some good new stuff, like some new properties on grabs to use in neutral, some new extensions and combos, but I'm just not sure. Android 17 got a bunch of new stuff as a result of him getting air rekkas, which is really nice, and his damage is up, which is really good. He did need that, so people are looking at him right now. A few people, including myself, were memeing about, oh, it's time to pick up 17 a couple of days ago, but you might actually see it, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. In his case, like, unlike a bunch of these other characters, because, like, look, we went through Bardock, UI, Trunks. Kefla's a little uncommon, but, like, SSJ Vegeta, Base Goku, GT Goku, Gotenk 16. 17 has always been an unpopular character, so if this character does get used because people think he's strong, you'll see a lot of new stuff come out with him. Again, another really good thing about a character being popular is that a lot of people will be working on them, so there'll be a lot of new tech with the character. So, in a good spot. I think people thought he was really strong last patch as well. Yamcha got a small nerf, but after talking about it with a friend a little bit, I think I understand why the nerf is big. So if you talk about base Vegeta's nerf, it makes a lot of sense. He just can't bust out on defense as much. He doesn't have a 4-frame to use in defensive spots. A lot of the spots where you could use 4-frame reversal are like common, right? But Yamcha is, if the Wolf Fang Fist whiffs, he has more recovery. The reason why this matters a lot is because a lot of people use him as anchor, and that move, again, plays neutral and beats super dash at the same time. So you have no coverage while doing this move. So it's like, now it's like a you can't miss type of move, and it's a minus already. Even though it's safe on block, I think it's still kind of rough for him, and I think this makes sense. What's the difference between S plus and S really? S plus is like, that's the shit that's important in the game, basically. S is like strong, but usually missing just like one thing or two things. If a person makes, like, differentiates S and S plus, it means that there's something really important in the game that these characters have, these characters have little, if no, flaws in the scope of the game, in their opinion. And then hit, so, hit has the usual stuff that, anti-reflect, really good anti-reflect and stay in there, but it changed the properties on a couple moves so that it affects his combos a little bit and affects some of his setups. And I actually wanted to see, because it has been a couple of weeks, when the patch dropped, I noticed there were a couple of things you can do with the new properties on like 6M, but I want to see if there's anything else that people have come up with since then. The character's always been a little bit uncommon, but I don't like keep up all the time. Like, I usually check and then go back, check and then go back. Then we go to A plus and A. So from here, again, they say that everyone is viable. So we definitely have about half the cats as S tier or higher. When you get to like A plus, at least in the case of Ginyu, we already know what problems Ginyu has. Even though he's been buffed over time, we always know, Ginyu is a waterfall character, he's a snowball character. When things are going well, they're going really well. When things are going poorly, they're going really bad. Gohan nerfed a bunch of times, finally. Piccolo, I personally think this is cap, but I can also see probably from, like, if you look at what characters they're ranking high and not, why you would think Piccolo is here. Of course, there's the memes of he has no beam and stuff like that, but the general, like, this is how you win with Piccolo is gone. It is odd though, considering Piccolo got some buffs this patch, but it's kind of interesting to look at. Zamasu, Sonic's always high about Zamasu. Always think Zamasu's really good, and then Zamasu's on the bottom half of their tier list, so that's interesting. Videl finally not at the bottom of a tier list. Gogeta also getting a bunch of stuff that they needed to just exist. Janemba is a kind of interesting one, especially because Sonic was always telling me in the past like 6 months to play Janemba, and then they rated Janemba a little low here. Krillin also new to not bottom tier or the lowest tier, right? And then Super Broly, which I think is a weird one, but this character gotten basically no changes in this patch. And then you have the A tier, which I don't think there's that much to talk about. So you have SSJ Goku, Goku Black. SSJ Goku buffed a little bit, but he's just out here. I think he's like average. Goku Black is, he's been down here for a while. Vegito being that low is definitely kind of odd. A lot of people probably would disagree with that. Cooler, same thing. Frieza, maybe. A lot of characters, they keep adding characters that do well against movement and stuff like that. Like, Frieza's kind of getting nerfed by the game. And then there's poor Nappa in the last slot. Looking at this, again, like, I always do feel like their takes on characters, like individual characters, are pretty interesting, but probably the thing that would make you as a player like pretty happy is that basically there's no B tier. I think this is generally unordered, but they said that Android 21 is the best character. By the way, I'm kind of with Sonic. This is my like, not my obvious orders, but like this is where I am with how I feel about the character strength. S plus S, A plus A. Do I think tier list matters? Of course. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Do you wanna chat about that a little bit? Of course, tier lists matter. Kami made a tier list, right? Did he make one? Is it on Twitter? Can someone link me, please? Yeah, I do think out of all like the, I don't know, content creators, well-known players, blah blah blah, whatever you want to call it, I'm like the most passive about making a tier list because like I want to really know the game before I make one. I've seen a lot of times where like a character is rated really low and then someone finds some broken shit. Yeah, so tier lists matter. Tier lists matter if you're a tournament player. If you are playing for fun, don't worry about a tier list. Unless you want to ruin your friend's life, don't worry about a tier list. If you're playing for fun, just pick your favorite characters. Pick your favorite characters because it'll help motivate you to play the game 100%. If you're playing in tournaments though, you have to think about tier lists. You just have no choice. Like, very, very often. Who was it who made, last season, someone made a spreadsheet of every like top 16 and top 32 in Dragon Ball, and then they counted how many characters, how many times the character was used in the top 16 and stuff. And you had shit like 15 SSJ Gokus in fucking top 16, or like 7 GT Gokus in top 8s, shit like that, right? Like, you can't look at that and then turn around and tell me tier lists don't matter. It definitely matters in competitive play. I also talked about on Saturday how like last year's Evo all won by S tiers. Like, it does matter. It does matter. For tournaments, again, if you're playing for fun, if you're casual, and you're just kind of into it because it's Dragon Ball, you don't have to worry about it. If you want, even if you want to play something functionable, you don't have to pick top tiers anymore too. You can actually just pick shit that does good things while picking your favorite characters, right? So you could do that as well. But it is definitely foolish to think tiers don't matter if you're playing at a competitive level. Z tier: Kid Buu, Broly, Tien, Gotenks, UI, Base Vegeta, Piccolo, Majin Buu, Base Goku, Bardock, Yamcha, and Krillin. S tier: Cell, Android 21, Blue Goku 17, Kefla, Janemba, Blue Vegeta, GT Goku, Super Broly, Trunks, Master Roshi, Hit, and Tien. A tier: Adult Gohan, Cooler, Beerus 18, Jiren, SSJ Vegeta, Vegito, SSJ Goku, Ginyu 16, Videl, B, Nappa, Frieza, Gogeta, and then Trash, Zamasu, and Goku Black. Okay. So, the safest pick really is Kid Buu. Like, real talk, the safest pick, if I was gonna say who's the best character in season 3.5, a really, really safe pick is Kid Buu. A really, really safe pick is Kid Buu. A really. We could talk about that when we get to Piccolo. That's a good question, actually. Broly, once again, top tier. Tien Gohan, top tier. This time he went to Gotenks on top tier. I think a lot of people would agree. He didn't write ordered, so I'm gonna assume this is unordered. But then also, when you're making these lists, you start from the top. You do kind of lean on picking the characters you think, you know, that are off the top of your head. You know what I'm saying? So as a top 5, that looks like a pretty solid top 5. Base Vegeta down, of course. I'm also of the group too, where it's real talk. If he still had that 4 frame, he probably would still be like top 3 or top 5. But it really does matter. It really does matter. For the person who's talking about Piccolo, Piccolo does have ways to attack you with Gnosis. What did they do to Base Vegeta's 4 frame? They made it a 9 frame, aka you can't use it. I won't say like you can't use it, you just can't use it the same way as you could before. Yes. So you can't use it after blocking Vanish, which is a big one. You can't mash it in the middle. What's good to the Super Noon people? We are in the middle. We are in the middle of some tier list analyses. It's not spammable is not the way you want to say it. The way you want to say it is you can't fucking use it. You just can't use it the same. That move was a really stupid 4-frame though. I'm actually surprised people did not complain about it as much as UI. Because that shit was really pretty cheap. Like, imagine like you have a base Vegeta player in the corner. He mashes the 4-frame on you, slips by you, and now you take like 3.6 to 4K. And if he has an assist available, you're getting set play, bro. You're getting like set play, bro. So now it's gone. And if you whiff it, it has more recovery. Like, they really shit on that move. But he's still a really good character despite that. But yeah, Piccolo has a solo offense, right? So he works really well with minus frames. He has a medium move that's -2, if I recall correctly. His 5M is -2. So he has a command grab that's slow, but the range is really huge, so that's kind of hard to deal with. And he can cross you up and fuck your reflect and stuff, fuck with your Dragon Rush tech. He can mix you alone after level 3. Like, he has a bunch of good shit to hit you. Like, he could definitely hit you. Don't get it twisted. We will not let Piccolo players downplay Piccolo. Majin Buu, we talked about again too. Again, it's a potential pick. A big potential pick. Base Goku, I also agree with this too. This character, we definitely meme about Broly being a god in Limit Break, but Base Goku also is a god in Limit Break. He does mad damage. He could also grab you. And where Broly has, like, the way he establishes his threat with command grab is with like big delays and dashing and using like 6M and stuff. Base Goku, that shit. Super new at the 6-man raid. Let's go. Base Goku, that shit, that jab into the command grab, it's too fast, bro. You can't. The threat is always there. He does mad damage. Kaioken ×20 is literally designed for him to use when he's alone. So Bardock as a top tier, it's not spicy. You know, that's as a top tier character, that's a debate. You know, that's a debate, I think. I kind of lean, if this is in order, I definitely lean with the positioning here. He still has, like, this character, Bardock, has 100% changed the neutral Dragon Ball forever, right? Forever, ever. So I think that really matters, and that stuff is still there. He still has godlike staggers. He uses, when he hits you, it fucking matters. So he still is in there, even if some stuff is down compared to before. Yamcha, great anchor. We all talk about this. Great solo character, great support, great anchor, great everything. Krillin up here is pretty interesting. Real talk. Buff normals matter that much to him. Buff normals matter a lot to him. Remember, Sonic had Krillin at, I think, A+? I think? How is Bardock better than Cell? We're talking about neutral, buddy. How does Cell play neutral? Bardock can play neutral by himself. Bardock plays neutral better with assist than Cell does, in my opinion. Cell arguably has a better level 3. Probably, I would say it has a better level 3. Their stagger game is similar. It's just that Cell is better at doing stagger pressure from a safe range compared to Bardock. Bardock has GOAT like frame data, like amazing frame data. Cell is really reliant on assists to play the game, but when he has them, he's really strong. He's really strong. But Bardock is less reliant on that. And Bardock is equally strong when he has assists too. I think Cell's OD as well, but you know, this isn't a hot take to me. This is not a hot take to me. Do I think Trunks is top tier? Not anymore. He didn't get the buffs he needed, but we can talk about my thoughts later. 21 is here. Blue Goku's here. 17 is here. A big jump up again. I think probably every list we're going to look at right now will have 17 much higher than before. Kefla, similar spot to Sonic. Janemba is higher here. Janemba's solo functionality, great assist, great level 3, good mix up in general. Really unique ways of playing neutral as well with the Hellgate and stuff like that. Blue Vegeta we talked about too. The buff neutral. The buff neutral is definitely there. GT Goku, again, the assist. Super Broly. So I want to talk about Super Broly at one point because this is the character I'm investing my stocks in for a theoretical season 4. This is the character. He's kinda slept. Like, people know he's good, but they don't really play him. You know, he's violent. He has huge normals. He yells at you. He's got good command grab, good meter gain, great assists, unique neutral. No real like. So he has a thing that's kind of common in more recent characters in that instead of just being amazing at some things and trash at other things, he's like amazing at some things and just like I at other things, and it makes him feel more complete than other characters that I really like. He has Trunks and Roshi there. Trunks we talked about to death. Roshi, this is a pretty solid spot. I sort of am thinking he's in the upper half of the characters at the very least. He has a lot of really strong, safe defensive tools. His movement is weird but unique, and it's very strong. He has a lot of interesting space control tools as well. Good corner carry, good damage, good DHCs. You know, he's got a lot of good stuff. Hit, we talked about too. He rates hit pretty highly. I tend to think US players rate hit pretty highly in general. And again, he got new stuff, so I gotta go back and see how people are using the new tools. Imagine S. Broly staggering you. He has... Oh, we can talk about that later, actually. When people are like, oh my god, he has no stagger game though, I'm just like, man. It's like, man. That's all I gotta say. I'm like, that feel one. That feel one, right? And then Tien, here's a pretty good spot too. I feel like the game, again, is encouraging you to use him. He does use minus frames really well now, as we discussed before. A tier, the A is for adult Gohan. Thank God this motherfucker's not top tier anymore. Keep that motherfucker down. You had your fun, bro. Fuck you. Fuck this character. Keep him down. It's fine. Fine. Keep him down. Cooler, again, in the middle of the pack. I sort of think this is probably where Cooler actually belongs, you know? Like, he's strong in the... Like, when you let him be strong, he's strong. He has to be built around. And when you enable him, he's really strong. He has Beerus here. Android 18, much lower than Sonic's S Plus for 18. Same with Jiren. SJ Vegeta, I think this is kind of a low rating here. I really believe in SJ Vegeta, and because the main thing too, I know it's just one person winning, but like it's at such a consistent level that you have to look at it as it's for real. I would probably rate him as S on this scale too. Vegito in A tier. A lot of people are gonna look at these low Vegito ratings, relatively low Vegito ratings, and be like, man, this shit's cap. Offline, I think because a lot of people are thinking about offline play, and Vegito does have problems opening people up alone. You can kind of sit there, wait for the Dragon Rush, but he does have really good neutral, great assists. I think he's probably a little bit higher than this personally. SJ Goku, back in the middle where he belongs. Ginyu, 16, and Videl. Even with the Videl buffs and the 16 buffs, he doesn't think of them very highly. Then B tier, so he does have B tier unlike Sonic. Nappa, Frieza, and Gogeta. I find it pretty interesting that he doesn't think the Gogeta changes do or affect the character's strength compared to the rest of the cast. Frieza, we talked about how, you know, it kind of feels like the game is nerfing Frieza a little bit between like mechanic stuff and what they do with new characters. And Nappa, you know, he's been low tier basically the whole game. And then trash, we have the gods. Funny enough, the gods are in trash tier. Funny enough. I think this has less hot takes in it than Sonic's tier list is full of hot takes. This one probably lines up more with how people feel about the game in general. Overall, there's also no distinguishing between like, you know, like S plus S type of thing. Like I'm that guy where I think like the characters are so close that you need to account for that, but Nokami just thinks that this is not the case. Okay, let us go to France. I'm gonna pull up Alioun, because someone like the Alioun's tier list, please. I think this is a solid tier list overall. Yes, I do. And you gotta remember, every player has their bias too, right? Every player has their bias. So Sonic's gonna be biased towards 21 and base Vegeta. Nokami's always gonna say that Zamasu and Goku Black are trash. I'm always gonna overrate Trunks. Alioun's gonna say some shit about Majin Buu. You know, we know this by now. and these last two are on Twitter, so that means we can do this. Oh? Oh. Oh, literally. There you go. I will share some of my thoughts after. We have 2 more people to do. Alien has a really tight tier list. By the way, usually I really agree with Alien's list, by the way. He's probably the person who is really, you know, we have like the same type of mindset as far as characters, which is why we gotta start with this cap-ass take of Gotenks being the best character. If this is ordered, he's saying Gotenks is the best character? That's cap. Gotenks the best character. Gotenks is the best character?
You're not ready for this scene right here, bro. You not fucking ready for this scene! You not fucking ready for this scene!
UI Goku as the second best character is interesting too. This is assuming that it's ordered though. This is assuming that it's ordered. If it's not ordered, then you know it's fine. But again, you got to remember too, people will tend to do this off the top of their head. People are gonna do this off the top of their head, right? Majin Buu, and then we just talked about this, right? Majin Buu is aliens. He's always going to rate Majin Buu super high. And then Kid Buu, we all know. Kid Buu is going to be there no matter what. He says not really ordered. Yeah, that's facts. Always assume it's not ordered. Always assume it's not ordered. Usually they'll say that's ordered. Then we have our usuals like Kid Buu, Broly, Bardock, Beast Vegeta, Tien Gohan, Cell in the top tier here, and I do agree. If you don't understand why people have been saying that Cell is really strong recently, it's that he has... First of all, they fixed some of his prior issues. So, like, for example, he had a 7-frame normal for a while. His jab was 7 frames. Now that it's 6. People worked their way through, like, some of his combo nerfs. On top of that as well, he has really good staggers. Again, he's amazing as a point character. He has a great 45-degree A assist to control space. He's good against Reflect. He mixes up with a lot of characters, and he has the new level 3, which is fucking crazy, and he can cross you up in the corner. So he has like a legit kind of like 4-way tile mix-up. So he's in a really, really good spot right now. If you are good at fundamental play of Dragon Ball FighterZ, then you'll feel incredibly strong with him right now. Trunks really high. Interesting, because since he has a ton of characters in this group, I think it's cool. But like, I probably would rate Trunks a little bit lower than this right now, personally. Yamcha, which most people would agree. Base Goku, which we went over as well. Android 17, who got a bunch of buffs recently that are meaningful. And then Janemba, and he actually plays Janemba, so he rates the character really highly with a bunch of, we talked about unique things in neutral that you could do with Hellgate, the really good frame 4, good mix-up, good movement in general. A+, once again, adult Gohan, let's keep him out of the top tier, please. We've had enough of that. GT Goku, again, for most people, this character is an assist, straight up. Even though the damage potential is really high, the mix is not there to that extent anymore. Piccolo might be a weird choice for some people here. Tien, I kind of agree with this. Blue Vegeta, again, Blue Vegeta started from the bottom, now we're here. Kefla, and I think basically US and Europe have a really good idea of Kefla because they both have really strong Kefla players in each region. Super Broly here, Android 18, and now we've seen a couple of Android 18s hanging around the middle, you know, of the pack. SSJ Vegeta, the way this is scaled, I think this is fine. SSJ Goku back, thank goodness. Here we have Beerus as well. Ginyu, Jiren, Android 21, quite low this time. Android 21 in the lower half. Blue Goku also in the lower half, which would be kind of surprise for people. Unless you're looking at it as unordered. Actually, this is unordered, so it's not the lower half. It's like this is all the middle of the game. Never mind. I fucked up. This is all the middle of the game. Still good though. Blue Goku in the middle of the game. A lot of people would say it's kind of weird though, because a lot of people think Blue Goku's like top 10, S tier, whatever. Cooler again, mid tier. I sort of feel this way too. Yeah, hit Krillin again. Started from the bottom. Frieza here is, I think, is fine. Fine. No, don't forget, this is not in order. This is not in order. So even though like the character is visually in the lower half, it's like top, middle, and bottom basically. Right. Vegito, Gogeta, 16, and Videl, which is all a good thing. This is all a good thing. That so one thing about this tier list is that basically there's only 3 characters he's like meh about. Because you gotta consider, like, if you take like, because he lives in France, so what's the Kaiden team? 18, Kefla, Cooler, right? So those are all characters that are in the A+, right? None of those characters he rated S tier. So that should tell you how strong the characters are overall in the game, right? It's been pretty consistent that people have been rating Zamasu, the gods, as the lowest characters. Boop. That's a W for us, though. That's a W for us humans, us Ningans. That's a W that the gods are the weakest. The meta is different. Yeah, we talked about this too. So, as a scale, right, Japan tends to play the hardest meta. And what I mean is like if a top player is coming out from Japan to another region, you can reliably expect them to play what we would call a whole meta team, right? So, like for instance, in Season 2, someone playing something Bardock SSJ, something Kibu Bardock, something Kibu SSJ, right? Now, then US is kind of a balance, right? US is kind of a balance between, yeah, I'll pick top tier shit, I'll pick Kibu, I'll pick Bardock, I'll pick a beam, and oh, you know, like, I think this character is good in a unique way, let me try them. So again, remember in Season 1, the original problem for Japan against US was Piccolo, because we had strong Piccolo players. We had Hook, and we had Apology Man, for instance. Sonic playing all sorts of teams, the Kill Sage playing Broly, but also Team Gohan, right? So the only quote-unquote meta character on that team is SSJ Goku. We have a bunch of examples of that. Usually it's like a nice little balance between, we understand that we need meta stuff to win, but we add a little bit spice. A little bit spice, like sriracha, not hot sauce, right? And then EU, they're just out here, bro. EU's out here, so EU, they do play meta stuff too, but if they play something that's off meta, it's something that really catches everything off guard. And there are the couple of cases where EU players have picked stuff that became meta because we were just like, whoa, this stuff is so crazy. I sort of feel this list too. Alliun, so like where I agree with Nokami and just the general feeling of who's strong and who's not. The closeness of the characters is what I really like about Allian's tier list. You think Adult Gohan is washed now? I don't think he's washed. I think he's like fine. I'm just glad he's not top tier so that everyone doesn't pick him. That's it. I fucking hate that character so much. Oh my god. We have one more to go through. Which is another French tier list. We have Wawa, another French player. Another French player is out here. Okay, this is a little cut off, but not in a shitty way, so we can just leave it like this. So, here is my S3 tier list. I tried to do my best to order it. Everything's quite ordered. I haven't tried her since the batch, but she looks way more decent now. I don't know who he's talking about there. That she. And I think that Kame sent in is very good too. Like very decent, but kind of hard to play. And his BSS is kind of broken. He's talking about Roshi. Maybe Videl. Oh, true. Yeah. Wawa had the hot take about Videl in Season 2. He's talking about Videl and Roshi. Okay. I have SAB and I don't know. I always respect the I don't know tier. I always respect the I don't know tier when people just keep it real and they don't rate characters that they don't know about. We have Kibu, UI, Broly, Gotenks, Space Vegeta, Hit, Vegito and S tier. Trunks, Kefla in S tier as well. Bardock, Team Gohan, Base Goku, Cooler, also in S tier. 21, Yamcha, and 18. Okay. In A tier, GT, Nappa, quite high here. Blue Goku, Tien, Piccolo, Jiren, Beerus, Janemba, 17, Majin Buu, SSJ, Vegeta, Cell, Adult Gohan, Super Broly, Ginyu, Frieza, Blue Vegeta, Krillin, Zamasu, probably the highest we've seen Zamasu. 16, SSJ Goku, Goku Black, B tier, Gogeta, and then I don't know, Videl and Master Roshi. So now this is our 4 tier list. We don't have to go through the particulars of this. Now, you remember this is EU, so their meta is a little bit different than ours. So, for instance, this is the highest we've seen Vegito. He plays a really strong French Vegito pretty often, so his opinion of the character is going to be different. Similarly, we just talked about Kaiden, since we talked about Alion's tier list, and Kefla, 18, and Cooler Wall, A+ tier. Wawa has them all as S tier, so again, you know, the characters and things they value are going to be different. But besides those things, it mostly lines up with everybody else. He does say this is quite ordered. It is good again to see a lot of characters like Krillin, 16, SJ Goku, Jiren, Blue Vegeta a little bit up. This is probably the lowest rated Majin Buu, yes it is. And easily the highest rated Nappa out of this. Easily. Seeing Gogeta here at the bottom is like boom boom. Yeah, he rates Cell pretty low too. I would rate him higher, I think, right now. I think out of these 4 that we looked at, I know this is the one that's the shortest, but it's like the shortest review, but we've looked at like 4, right? So out of them, Alien, what I like about Alion's is the closeness of the characters. And probably like where Kami positions, like literally like orders characters, I agree with ish. And then like I think the tiers are pretty close right now, personally. This was good. Again, it's early too. We also have 2 more characters that are going to drop too.